What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hey, it's Crystal with an I, not a Y. We're gonna get right into it. We are using the Kylie Cosmetics Nightmare on Elm Street collection. I'm just showing you guys what I used on my face, the little tattoos. I bought them off of Amazon. And Elmer's glue and setting powder for my brow, and I also covered it with some concealer. I didn't do that on camera just because it was a process and a half, and honestly it didn't really work as fully as I wanted it to. So yeah, all I'm doing now is taking my Anastasia dip brow in dark brown and outlining my eyebrow. Then I'm gonna go ahead and fill it in. I'm gonna take my P. Louise base in color Rumor 2 or shade Rumor 2, I believe it is, on a flat Morphe brush. I'm just gonna outline the brow and put it all over my eyelid just to get a nice blank canvas that the eyeshadows will stick to. I am gonna take my beauty blender that is dampened to kind of just blend it out and make it not, streaky, because I did put it on with the brush. Going right into the palette, I am taking the light shade and I'm using a fluffy brush. Normally I would use a Morphe M441, but all my brushes were dirty and I washed them last night, but they weren't dry, so I had to use the dual-ended Anastasia brushes that usually come with her palettes. Right underneath that light pink, I am taking that bright red and kind of just blending it, but not as high. We're going to keep everything in the crease. Now on the flat side of the brush, I'm going to take that burgundy shade and I'm just going to pop it, kind of tap it in where I would want to cut my crease, if that makes sense. Kind of just packing it on. And I'm gonna do the same thing with that dark green shade. I'm just gonna take a clean flat brush and pack it on like we did the dark burgundy maroon shade. I'm sorry, I don't have the shade names on me. I am doing this voiceover on my lunch, so I'm trying to get this video up as soon as possible. Now I'm going to cut my crease with that same flat brush that we used earlier for the eyelid, and I'm taking the same Rumor 2 P. Louise base and just carving out my crease. Then I'm gonna also take a beauty blender and kind of like blend it out. Just be careful when you go in with the beauty blender to be very cautious of the edge and not bring it up too high and make a mess of it. Now I couldn't decide what shimmer shade I wanted to use, and I ended up picking that red one right there. And I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm putting down glitter glue just because when I put shimmers on, I like for them to stay where they belong. I don't want them to move all around. I want it to be a more intense cut crease rather than the shimmer and glitter and everything just moving around. Now, after I applied it, I realized that I should have probably went with like a gold shade or one of the lighter champagne ones, but it was too late, so we just went with it. So keep that in mind. I don't know, if you guys like the look, then you can do it like this. If not, then I would substitute it with a different shade. I am taking that bright red and kind of bringing it back out into the crease. And now I'm going to take the dark red and also put it on the outer corner. Then I'm going to repeat that same process of patting and blending, and I'm going to do the same thing with that dark green as well to make sure it all looks nice and smoked and blended. Because I wasn't a fan of the look, I decided to take glitter and just make a glitter line because, like, why not? You know, I was trying to save it and make it look prettier for me, but honestly, it really wasn't working. I was on a time crunch because after this I had to go to work, so here we are. Now I'm just going to take the foundation and apply it all over my face. I started right on top of the brow. Now when you do that brow area, if you decide to conceal them and kind of make them disappear, keep in mind that you have to go up, because if you go against it, you're just gonna basically have to start over on trying to make your eyebrow become invisible with concealer and everything again. I know that the tattoos kind of somewhat disappeared, which was absolutely fine. I'm gonna go over them with like the colored red. I just didn't feel like drawing them out completely by hand. I'm just taking a concealer and applying it over the brow to kind of try to get rid of it again, and underneath the eye on the, I guess you would call, glam side. That concealer is a little bit light, so I went over it with a slightly darker one, and I'm just going to blend it out. I'm just taking my translucent powder and applying it everywhere to make sure that the makeup does not move. Now I'm taking the Fantasy Makers red crayon type thing, and I'm gonna do like in a diagonal way the what would be Freddy's burn marks or scars or skin texture, whatever it is that you want to call it. Now I did start trying to just draw it out with the crayon itself. However, it's not going to be easy for you to make a thin line, especially because I had already previously used it. So I took a flat brush and kind of started using that to draw them out. Once you get to like the bigger ones where they don't have that thinning out detail, then you can just use the crayon. But I had to go in with the brush a little. Okay, well, that took forever. But here we are. My niece insisted on doing this part. She is going in with the dark burgundy eyeshadow and kind of just shading the bigger areas of what would be the scars or burn marks with the dark red. And it's pretty much just kind of trying to give it a little bit of dimension as much as you possibly can. She's not shading the whole thing on the larger ones. It's going to be mostly the little ones that are going to be fully shaded and set with the dark burgundy. But for the larger ones, it's just the bigger, rounder area of it. And then we're going to also go in with the bright red to set the rest of it. And like I said, give it some more dimension, she said. On a clean brush, she is taking the brighter red shade and kind of just using that wherever she didn't put the darker shade. That's done, so we're going to do lashes, bronzer, and a lip liner off camera. I also did the under eye, and I just took the same exact shades underneath. I am putting the darkest lip lacquer over the lip liner just because I wanted to have a base down. I wanted it to be a bit of a darker red. I am applying my hat now that everything is done. My wig is set. I'm kind of just fixing things here and there. I did forget to use that like jelly blush thing, and I was not a fan of the eyelashes, so I grabbed my own dramatic ones. I believe I got these off of Amazon. Best place to get your stuff. That's gonna be it for this video. I even added my little claw. Hope you guys like it, and I hope that we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.